Oh no.
Well, we have we have the first disc over there, so it's missing. We'll get it in a second, but we wanted to give that to you so you could take back.
Thank you very much.
And show them.
So
but,
much.
yeah. Well, did you? Was that something that? How different was that from what you guys do? I mean, how different was that for you to see the English version as opposed to obviously your version?
でまず男と女が違うってことがやっぱりケロロが日本では女性がやっててでアメリカでは男性がやってトッドがやってますよね。
First, it's the gender of the voice actors. In Japan, Keroro is voiced by a girl, but I was surprised to see that in the English version, Keroro is voiced by a guy.
でも最初プロデューサーとか監督はケロロは男にしようと思ってたんですって。やっぱり軍人だし。
But even in Japan, at first the producers and directors wanted to make Keroro a guy. After all, he is a soldier.
Okay.
見てて全然楽しくて Really your voice? I don't believe it 特に気に入ったセリフが今見ててThat episode one of my favorite episodes
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
good, excellent,
yeah.
excellent, good.
Yeah.
It's a good one then.
And there's one particular line in that episode that I really liked.
I will die for you, Natsumi
You did the best job ever.
Well, originally, when we had a big, another company had Sergeant Frog, and then it came to us, and there was a big casting kind of back and forth, and I know you guys were pretty much set from the get-go, is that correct? Like,
No.
after the audition though? After the test episode?
I'm the third or fourth one.
Oh, really?
I wasn't in the test episode.
Oh. See, typically we'll cast a show and we'll just do it, but for this particular show, we wanted to take some extra care for it, and so we did a test episode to see what people thought. And so, who was before you?
I think it was Maxine.
Maxie? Really? Wow.
Oh, it was Maxine and Caitlin and
Yeah.
me.
Oh, wow.
Test episode, wasn't that? didn't
Test
we do
episode
test
12.
episode- Yeah, it was test episode 12. And I think for the test episode for Natsumi, it was Kate Oxley.
Okay, because originally in the test episode, I was Kululu. And so, and so then it just through, I guess, through the powers that be, I became Keroro, and then it stuck. But yeah, it went back and forth for a long time to make sure that we had the right tone and the right actors involved and things like that. So I think they did pretty good with you guys.
Thanks.
So, but no, we a lot of times a typical thing that people will say about the show is kind of we veer off a little bit from the original script, and it's because we try to take some of the Japanese humor that might not translate to our culture and kind of make it more Americanized, I guess. But we try to stay as true as possible. When you guys do the episodes there, is any of it improvised or is it all pretty much scripted?
普段ほとんどの場合はないんですけどもケロの場合は結構みんなアドリブを言ってたりもしましたですね。
Usually we stay pretty close to the script when we do recordings for Japanese animation, but for Keroro, there was a lot of ad-lib going on.
Okay, okay. Well, how's we talked a little bit about this last night, but for the guys out here, the process is very different. For you guys to record is very different than how we record. Can you talk a little bit about how you record each episode?
さっき昨日の夜ミスタートッドとお話ししてて大体こちらは一人ずつ別々に撮って大体、4時間ぐらいで終わるかなっていう話を聞いててそうなんだみんな一人ずつだって思ったので
So last night I was talking to Mr. Todd, and he told me about how here in the US they record one person at a time, and each recording session lasts for 4 hours, and that really surprised me.
でも日本の場合はもうキャストがその1話に出る全員が集まって一気に撮ってしまうので だいたい1話4時間ぐらいをテストラステス本番みたいに撮ります。
But in Japan, we have the entire cast who appears in the episode all gather in one recording studio, and we just take the entire episode all at once. So it takes about 4 hours for one episode with all the rehearsals and trial runs.
皆さんどうして一緒に会わないのにそんな仲良くなるんですか？どこでお友達になるんですか？
So I have a question for you three. So you don't see each other during your recording sessions. How did you become such good friends?
I think we'll randomly see each other like in the hallways when we're recording or coming to conventions. So there's a couple people that we'll run into and we don't know what they sound like. Todd and I have worked together on a couple of shows. He's been a director and I'll get to know him that way. And then Leah's directed me, and so I guess it's just from running into each other and working with each other on other shows.
Yeah, we've been fortunate enough to work up there pretty frequently. And we've got 10 booths going at the same time. So there's a lot of opportunity to run into each other and talk during breaks and stuff like that.
When I goof off and I go into other booths and run the other studios. And but we are very lucky because we have a roster of about 700 actors in our studio. And out of those 700, there's really a very small percentage that comes in a lot. And so we're lucky to be in that group. And I just hope it keeps going because I'm not leaving. I'm not leaving. But, yeah.
We'll fight it, kicking and screaming. They can't get rid of us.
But right now, we've recorded up to season 3. And I know there's 300 episodes.
Yes.
And so we hope to get there one day. But I think one thing that a lot of people here are really good about, but go out and spread the word. Because the best way to communicate with a business is through business, unfortunately. Not to be a downer here. But if you guys want to see more Sergeant Frog, like a lot of you have done, you've got to get out there and support it and get it. Whether it's through Netflix or iTunes or any way that you get it, it's one thing to buy one copy and have 30 people over to watch it, but that's great. But you have to get out and you have to support it because what the company sees is like, wow, okay, so 1 out of 30 people bought it. I guess they didn't like it. But they don't realize that you were all watching it together. Does that make sense? So it's the kind of thing where, you know, you've got to, like Jeremy and I went downstairs and we bought some Sergeant Frog today and stuff. And so you just gotta get out there and you gotta support it. And for all the shows that you want to see, not just Sergeant Frog. Like D. Gray Man is another one that people talk about. And that was a show that just, you know, people loved it and people cosplay it, but it didn't, you know, people didn't get out there and grab it, you know. So I don't want that to happen to Sergeant Frog. I want it to keep going because we've got a lot of craziness to get through.
Yeah.
So, do you guys have any questions for?
I just have one more question.
Yes, right here.
How popular is Sergeant Frog in Japan? I heard it's a pretty big deal, but I just didn't know.
そうですね。グッズもいっぱい出てますし、視聴率もね結構ずっと良くて、で角川も生産会社の角川の会長さん自らも大好きだとおっしゃってました。
Well, there's certainly a lot of merchandise for Sergeant Frog out in Japan, and the ratings for the show have been consistently good throughout its history. And in fact, the president of Kadokawa himself said that he is a big fan of the show.
Oh,
cool.
Excellent.
That's
Wow.
so cool.